center with me, Maria Shakil. Amidst electoral setbacks, rebellions and exodus, the Congress party is aiming for a major revival ahead of the 2024 general elections. Congress MP and former party chief Rahul Gandhi flagged off the party's Bharat Jodo Yatra from Kanyakumari. The 3,500-kilometer long foot march is an ambitious outreach program to the voters and will cover 12 states over 150 days, culminating in Kashmir. Congress leaders will hold public meetings to connect with voters over issues ranging from inflation, price rise to unemployment. Flagging off the rally, Rahul Gandhi took on the BJP, claiming the Modi government and the RSS are attacking every institution in the country and waging a war on the opposition with central agencies, sending a message of opposition unity. Rahul Gandhi said no opposition leader is scared of the Saffron Party, adding that the fight to defend the constitution and democracy will never end. But senior Congress leader Jairam Ramesh added that in this pursuit of unity, the Congress cannot be taken for granted by other opposition parties. Both the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party countered the Congress party's campaign, with the BJP calling it a movement for Parivar Jodo, while the Aam Aadmi Party called it the Congress Chodo Yatra. The Yatra comes amidst the Congress party's efforts to hold internal elections, which have been repeatedly postponed due to Rahul Gandhi's reluctance to participate. A section in the party is hoping for a continued leadership by the Gandhis, but many party veterans have called for new leadership to reboot the party for the 2024 general elections. While such concerns led to the exit of Kapil Sibal and Ghulam Nabi Azad, others like Manish Tiwari, Shashi Tharoor, Anand Sharma have all called for transparency in the internal elections. They are still with the Congress for the moment. The Congress party's Bharat Jodo campaign also comes amidst Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's high-profile visit to Delhi, where he has met a slew of opposition leaders battling, they're all batting for a united front against the BJP. This comes after Nitish Kumar and Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's meeting in Patna, attempting to reboot the joint opposition project that has failed to take off many times. While speculation is rife that Nitish Kumar may be the prime ministerial face of this front, the Bihar Chief Minister has said that he is neither a claimant nor does he desire the top job. But the Congress has repeatedly made the pitch that it is the nucleus of opposition unity. Both the TMC and the Aam Aadmi Party have called on the Congress to make way for the other parties, the regional parties, to take the reins of all opposition fronts, citing their victories in one fight after the other against the BJP. But while the Congress has a dismal record when taking on the BJP, no other opposition party has its pan-India footprint. The big question then is, with this Bharat Jodo Yatra, can the Congress pump the much-needed energy into its ranks and jodo the opposition against the BJP? Before I get the guests and our newsmakers, here's what happened today.
Rahul Gandhi flagging off Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra from Kanyakumari, which will go all the way up to Kashmir. 3,570 kilometers, 12 states, 150 days.
What is happening in the country? That so many people, millions and millions of people, feel that there is a need to take an action that brings India together. The BJP thinks that they can divide this country along religious lines. They can divide this country along its languages. This country cannot be divided.
Over the next 5 months, Rahul Gandhi will walk with 118 Congress leaders and stay in a container.
राहुल गांधी जहां रुकेंगे वो ये कंटेनर है। इसी तरह का गांव उनकी यात्रा के दौरान बसाया जाएगा, जिसमें लगभग 5 दर्जन कंटेनर हैं। इन कंटेनरों में 2 से लेकर के 12 तक यात्री रुकेंगे। कुछ कंटेनर में एसी भी लगाई गई है, यहाँ सोने के लिए गद्दे भी अंदर लगे हैं।
The Padyatra comes at a time when the Congress is gearing up for a new party president, a possible non-Gandhi one. The party claims the march will be a turning point in Indian politics.
क्या विभिन्न धर्मों के लोग में एक नफरत नहीं पैदा की जा रही है? क्या भारतीय संविधान के जो मूल स्वरूप है उस पर प्रहार नहीं हो रहे हैं। भारत जोड़ो यात्रा देश के लिए हो रही है, देश के लोगों के लिए हो रही है।
But Congress's so-called new beginning was mocked by the BJP.
कांग्रेस का समय में तो भारत दो टुकड़ा हो ही गया था। अभी भारत जोड़ने के लिए तो कांग्रेस को पाकिस्तान जाना है।
कभी कभी बड़ा आश्चर्य भी होता है, जो अपनी पार्टी को जोड़ नहीं सके वो भारत जोड़ने निकले हैं।
Even the opposition chimed in.
जो ये कैंपेन है ये कांग्रेस छोड़ो रोकने के लिए भारत जोड़ो शुरू किया गया है।
Curiously, Priyanka Gandhi's businessman husband Robert Vadra made an appearance in the Bharat Jodo Yatra posters, sharing space with his wife and in-laws.
It shows that this is not about Bharat Jodo. This is about परिवार को जोड़ो. This is about भ्रष्टाचारियों को जोड़ो. राहुल को नेतृत्व से जोड़ो. प्रियंका को पद से जोड़ो और रॉबर्ट को पार्टी से जोड़ो.
So amidst growing fissures in the party, is the Bharat Jodo Yatra about reviving the Congress or the Gandhi Parivar?
And let me take those questions straight to the panelists who are joining me now. Tom Vadakkan of the BJP, Dr. Sunil Singh representing the JDU, because this is coming at a time when Nitish Kumar is in the national capital. He heads back to Patna tomorrow, but he is making an effort at a united opposition. We have Mohan Kumaramangalam, who is representing the Congress, and Professor Sanjay Kumar of CSDS. Mohanji, a pan-India Pad Yatra that will cover as many as 12 states over a span of 150 days. But in less than 150 days, in fact in just perhaps 30 days or so, crucial elections in Gujarat and Himachal are going to be held. Shouldn't the Congress be getting its house in order in these states?
The Padayatra is orthogonal to these elections in that the individual state units have been working on the elections for more than the last 6 months, as far as I know. And those elections have nothing to do with this national movement that has been kicked off by us today. The reason that the Padayatra is happening is to expose the fault lines that exist in our country today, not only along the social lines, but also along economic and political lines. I think Mr. Gandhi was very eloquent today in his speech when he talked about how MSMEs are facing severe problems and they are the largest providers of employment. We have huge unemployment problems. We have inequality. We are now one of the most unequal countries in the world. And now we have
but Mohan,
the rise of the sort of Russian-style oligarchs.
That in the state of Gujarat, only recently a working president in Hardik Patel quit. In the state of Himachal Pradesh, you have a problem in hand with Anand Sharma. What are efforts being made to ensure that this rebellion, which is clearly staring on your face, many of them have also, there has been exodus as well. How do you handle that? Because electoral victories is what defines a party's success, and that's where the BJP and other opposition parties are scoring on you.
Well, I don't think electoral victories is what defines a party. I think an ideology is what defines a party. And I think one of the things Mr. Gandhi has done since he's come into the political realm has been to draw a very clear line between our ideology and that of our opposition, that is the BJP. So I would have to disagree with you there. In terms of rebellions, I mean, it's interesting on one side, the Congress gets blamed for not being democratic enough. But on the other side, you often see only congressmen coming out and being vocal about the problems in our parties. I think we are probably one of the most vibrant democracies within the party.
Yes.
Let me finish my point. I'm saying as far as Mr. Anand Sharma is concerned, since you mentioned him, Mr. Anand Sharma is one of the leaders. So I think things are going well with Mr. Sharma in Himachal.
Okay. We'll try and connect with him in just a bit. Tom Vadakkan, why is the BJP getting so anxious? This is an internal matter of a political party, whether it's Rahul Gandhi or whosoever who embarks on a yatra. You would not react the same way had it been a Mamata Banerjee or any other political opponents of yours.
Maria, it's a very strange question. We are not worried. This is basically...
Well, the kind of reactions that have come in from Himanta Biswa Sarma, there was also a press conference that was held by Ravi Shankar Prasad. Obviously, these are signs that you are worried.
I'll tell you what. the Chief Minister of Assam, has symbolically stated the obvious. What is this whole business of unification? We are united, Maria. Where is this, this band-aid culture that you have now made a speech today? I heard him say that we are going to listen to the people. Wonderful. You should have started long back listening to the people. It is now your agenda that you will speak less and listen to people. Are you telling me till now the Congress party was out of touch? Here's the same young man who in Bangalore was asked about the NCC. He has no clue. So we want him to have this political tourism, educate himself. I would call it discovery of India, Maria.
Okay, so Rahul Gandhi is on a discovery of India. That's what you are saying. Come in on this, Dr. Sunil Singh. On one hand is Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. On another is Nitish Kumar's opposition Jodo Yatra. Is opposition completely fragmented, which is visible, or are there efforts being made to ensure that whenever, efforts are not appearing to be sincere? It's almost like एक try करना है, visibly दिखना है, 2024 से पहले symbolic fight होना है, तो this is a symbol, high on symbolism, high on optics events. That is why Nitish Kumar comes here 3 days, इतने सारे नेताओं से मिल लिए, photos हो गए, उसका चले जा रहे हैं.
Maria, you cannot underplay the things which are happening in the opposition, in the upper nationwide, and it is throwing the seeds of a historic change. Let me tell you, the Bharat Jodo Yatra is taking one step forward of what the Honorable Nitish Kumar started. Now, Bharat Jodo Yatra is in contrast to the Bharat Todo philosophy of BJP. The country today is facing the divisive politics of BJP. And the communal.
No, but Dr. Sunil Singh, the Congress announced this Bharat Jodo Yatra much before Nitish Kumar walked out of alliance with the BJP.
No, I'm not saying that.
So why are you giving yourself credit for something that the Congress is doing?
No. I'm saying it's taking one step forward. Like Honorable Nitish Kumar has started the opposition unification campaign, and in that perspective, if Bharat Jodo Yatra is been taking place, the Bharat Jodo Yatra is having more importance because of Honorable Nitish Kumar movement. That's what I mean. I'm not saying who has taken first,
this is another sign of how disjointed the opposition ideas are. For all the optics that we have seen in Delhi when Nitish Kumar has been here, it may be very well, meeting this leader, that leader, but is there a plan? And Sanjay Kumar, I want to understand from you. Here is Rahul Gandhi.
Let me complete. Maria, 1 minute more.
Okay, go ahead.
Maria, which you are saying, is there a plan? Do you think this thing that happened in the last 3 days, what Honorable Nitish Kumar has done, and that every opposition leader was just waiting for the thing, because the people are really frustrated about this.
No, but why should opposition really trust Nitish Kumar? Mohan Kumar Mangalam, help me understand. Can parties such as Congress trust Nitish Kumar for his multiple U-turns that he has done?
Maria, we are talking to all parties who want to focus on the same issues that we want to focus on, which are the issues that matter to people today. The issues on economic inequality, the issues on social and communal divisiveness, and the issues on political fault lines as well, where you have the instruments of the government, the investigative agencies being used against opposition leaders with no real basis, where you have the governments being destabilized in undemocratic ways using the power of these agencies as well as their
Congress
money
General
power.
Secretary,
So these are,
Mr.
we want to talk
just
about
a
these
bit.
issues.
But before that, Sanjay Kumar, I want a quick word from you. When this yatra began, there was a response that came from Shashi Tharoor, who has spoken also about the electoral roll which should be made public. That is his demand, a demand which has been supported by several in the Congress party. He says that what Congress needs more is Congress Jodo Yatra, need for a large scale campaign that can unite the party. Sanjay Kumar.
Yes, you mentioned the statement by Shashi Tharoor, but I think both things are required. It is true that if the party is disintegrating, leaders are unhappy, they are leaving the party, the leadership of the party should make an effort to reach out to these leaders, hear them out, try and resolve their issues so that leaders don't keep leaving the party the way they have been doing for the last couple of years, because leaders leaving the party is only damaging the electoral prospects and the image of the party or the credibility of the party. But that doesn't mean that the party should not initiate any other program which is connecting to the masses. I think Bharat Jodo Yatra, which has been initiated by Congress, I think it is a noble exercise by the Congress, but I am not saying that they should just don't care about what is happening with the leadership issues, etc. That should also be taken care of. But the whole idea that if this Bharat Jodo Yatra can lead to the revival of the party, if the party is thinking in that terms, I think they would be making a mistake. This is a small step towards trying to connect to the people. Today is only the first day of the Yatra. I think the coming days will give us some idea how much connect Rahul Gandhi or party has been able to do with the people when they move from one state to another and one district to another.
Okay, Tom Vadakkan, historically speaking, Yatras have always yielded results for politicians who have undertaken it. 1983, Janata Party President and former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar started on All India Padyatra from Kanyakumari to Delhi. LK Advani's nationwide Yatra Somnath to Ayodhya in support of Ram Temple was watershed movement for the BJP and led to tectonic shift in the Indian politics. NT Rama Rao 1981-1982, 2003 YS Rajshekhar Reddy, Jagan Reddy in 2017. Similar efforts have been made by Mamata Banerjee and many others. What makes you think that this will not be successful?
Nobody is sitting in judgment on whether it succeeds or doesn't. Here are they facing an election which is to select their president. Maria, let me tell you some fact of the matter. The Electoral College of the Congress has not been elected. The delegates are unknown. Shashi Tharoor is spot on when he says you don't know who your voters are. And they talk about democracy. Connect with your own people. कांग्रेस को जोड़ो भाई, कांग्रेस को पहले जोड़ो, उसके बाद देश को बचाओ. देश को आपका जरूरत नहीं है. समझा करो कि आप अपना परिवार को जोड़ो, आपका सिचुएशन को सॉर्ट आउट करो और वो उचित रहेगा. लेकिन अगर आप समझते हैं कि जनता जनार्दन,
so why are you dismissing that this yatra can actually revive the Congress?
अरे हम चाहते हैं कांग्रेस रिवाइव हो, लेकिन उम्मीद कहीं होना चाहिए ना. कहीं तो there should be some light down the tunnel. This is all very well. You sleep in a container, you travel with about 118 people across the state, and you say that you're going to listen to people. Wonderful. Discovery of India is a must. His grandfather wrote Discovery of India. Rahul Gandhi must discover India. That's the moment. We are happy if he succeeds.
Okay, so you are happy with it. Okay, let me bring in Randeep Surjewala, Congress General Secretary now. He's joining me from Kanyakumari. Mr. Surjewala, as a Congress leader, do you think this Bharat Jodo Yatra is the right name for this and coming at a time when you are facing a lot of questions of revival, and also you have the kind of reaction that has come in from the BJP, which says that the Congress has much to explain as to what really happened in 1947 because it's the party which actually broke this country and led to the partition of the nation.
Why is BJP so perturbed? Why is BJP so angry? Why is BJP so jittery? Why is its leadership so angry with Rahul Gandhi and with people of this country? The reason is simple, Maria ji. The reason is they want to discriminate between you and me, because you write Maria Shakil and I write Randeep Singh Surjewala. They have destroyed the soul of this country purely by hatred, driven by a religious division agenda, an agenda driven by caste division, an agenda driven by linguistic division, an agenda driven by the color of your skin, the clothes that you wear, or the food that we eat. Do they even know? Does Hemanto Biswa Sharma and Mr. Nadda and BJP even understand that a gas cylinder that used to cost 410 rupees cost 1100 rupees? Do they even understand that the cooking oil is 200 rupees a litre? Petrol and diesel is 85 and 95 rupees a litre in most places in India. Pulses are 100 and 150 rupees a kg. And our young 4.5 crore youth are unemployed. People between 15 to 25 years of age, 50% is the unemployment rate. You have education, you have talent, but you have no jobs. Nearly a crore MSMEs have been shut down. And wealth is concentrated in the hands of one or two people who are all cronies of Prime Minister Modi and the BJP. That's why Bharat Jodo Yatra. They have attacked the soul of India. They only want to divide the country on Hindu-Muslim. That's about all that they have.
Mr. Surjewala, one view is that Rahul Gandhi should make some reforms before going on this yatra, because there are several problems that the Congress party is facing. And these problems have to be fixed. This is about organizational challenges that he has, where there is exodus visibly, and several leaders from within the Congress who have left the Congress, and most recent and most scathing letter that was written by Ghulam Nabi Azad, all of them talked about what ails Congress. So those issues have to be fixed before a yatra of this nature should begin, or because you have already begun that.
Some people are now undertaking a BJP friendship yatra. That's okay. But the issue here is much larger than individuals. This is a 3,570 kilometer long yatra. Tell me, after Mahatma Gandhi, who fought the British, and what did Mahatma Gandhi fight the British for? He fought the British because they were keeping us divided, and they were keeping us as slaves. The wealth of this country was concentrated in a few hands, that is the East India Company. If I was to look truly as an Indian, the true successors of the East India Company is Bharatiya Janata Party, which should be renamed as Betrayal Janata Party. They are doing the same thing, lacerating the soul of this country, dividing this country on religious fault lines, dividing this country on linguistic and caste fault lines, pitting Hindus against Muslims, pitting Hindus against Sikhs, and look at from one corner to the other. In Assam, they will say Ahom versus Bengalis. They will come to Jharkhand, they will say Adivasi versus non-Adivasi. UP, Dalits versus the forwards. Haryana, Jats versus the non-Jats. Punjab, Sikh versus Hindus. Rajasthan, Rajputs versus non-Rajputs. Gujarat, Patidar versus non-Patidars. Maharashtra, Maratha versus non-Maratha. Karnataka, Lingayat versus Vokaligas. And then the rest versus these two communities.
Okay.
Everywhere they are dividing on religious and caste fault lines this entire country, and reaping a bounty of votes. But that's not the way India would be run. We have 1 crore MSMEs which have shut down. You tell me, Modi ji's friend's income is rising by 1,000 crore rupees a day. But 84% of Indian households have no income. India's farmer earns only rupees 27 per day.
Okay.
But Modi ji's friends earn 1,000 crore a day. Okay. How will this country be run?
Mr. Surjewala, last question to you, sir. At this point, the Congress party is ruling 2 states, that is Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. Your immediate challenge is in the state of Gujarat and Himachal. In both these states, the BJP is the incumbent, and it's a bipolar contest between the BJP and the Congress. Shouldn't Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party be focusing on states that are going to polls?
Both the party and the country and its people are facing multiple challenges. We are aware of the challenges both in Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh. That's why Mr. Gandhi was there 2 days ago. And you would have seen, and I'm sure your channel showed, the response of the youth and the crowd. It told us that there is a yearning for change. Himachal has already decided in the last set of by-elections that the change is here to stay, and Congress is being voted to power. So the change must come in election-going states, but the entire country's soul is lacerated, it bleeds. Bharat Mata is bleeding. And it is the responsibility of the Indian National Congress and Mr. Gandhi to ensure that not only election-going states, but a government that is now deaf to people's woes and difficulties wakes up and listens to the woes of people who are plagued by price rise, who are plagued by sinking economy, by a GDP which is on nosedive, by unprecedented unemployment, which listens to the difficulties that are being faced by people every day. And we are doing our dharma and we shall continue to follow the path.
All right, Randeep Surjewala, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me go back to the guests and take a quick question with Professor Sanjay Kumar. Professor Sanjay Kumar, the point being made of independence struggle. This is no Dandi March of 1930, and the Congress today is not the one of 1930. And India today is also not the same as 1930, because India today has seen several memorable years and has catapulted many leaders from the sidelines into the mainstream and to the limelight and also to the high offices of the country. Do you think there is a visible disconnect in the larger objective that the Congress is talking about and the imagery that they are trying to, think about?
Maria, yes, to a great extent there is a huge disconnect, and the disconnect is visible from the electoral debacle Congress has been facing since 2014. They have won only few assembly elections since 2014. They got badly defeated in 2014, 2019, and remember, since 2019 Lok Sabha election, Congress has not won any assembly elections, and almost 17 and 18 states have gone to polls. So this is a clear evidence that there is a disconnect of the Congress with the people, and this disconnect is getting reflected in the electoral defeats of the Congress. The disconnect is about the ideas, the disconnect is about the issues, the disconnect is about the leadership. So there are various kinds of disconnect, I think, which Congress is facing with the masses, and that is why they have not been able to succeed the way they should have succeeded in the electoral battles which they have faced during last 5 years.
All right, Professor Sanjay Kumar, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, Dr. Sunil Singh and Tom Vadakan, thank you so much for joining us, getting the viewers now, the next newsmaker. Earlier today, I spoke to Tamil Nadu BJP chief K. Annamilai, and I began by asking him, there are some shut-up reactions that have come in from your party. Himanta Biswa Sarma, Assam Chief Minister, has said that India is united under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and if anything, the Congress should have this yatra in Pakistan. The Congress says that these reactions show that you and your party are jittery. That why are you so anxious if they are doing a yatra?
And we also mentioned yesterday that the name that Rahul Gandhi ji has chosen for the yatra called Bharat Jodo, and we all know who divided the country before 1947, right from 1947 August 15. And in fact, Rahul Gandhi ji had 3 of his family members as the Prime Minister of this country at different points of time. And after Prime Minister Modi ji has come to power in the last 8 years, be it Article 370, the complete integration of the northeastern states into India, the artificial north-south divide that was created by some cunning politician, everything is a thing of the past now. I really don't understand in what context he calls this as Bharat Jodo. That is why we said that Rahul Gandhi ji should call this yatra as a Bharat Jodo Yatra, because he often leaves Bharat and goes out. And I don't see people are buying into this argument. People are buying into this theory. India is a great country, unified country. No time in our history we are more unified now. Than we are what is happening under Honorable Prestigious leadership.
Well, the Congress says that the BJP has divided India, and this rich India is flourishing under the BJP regime. And Mr. Gandhi is also highlighting the fact that the BJP as a party is dividing India on communal lines. This communal charge is coming back to you because something that Rahul Gandhi keeps talking about.
Maybe I'll take some extra little time to answer this question, ma'am. If you look at the person who inaugurated this yatra, the Tamil Nadu Prime Minister, M.K. Stalin, 2 days back, he has hosted Arvind Kejriwal ji in Chennai, and we called him as a great Chief Minister of Delhi, and who did some wonders here and there. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal ji called the M.K. Stalin ji as another great Chief Minister. So 2 days later, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin ji is in Kanyakumari today to inaugurate this yatra, calling Rahul Gandhi as a great guy. So you can simply understand the way the opposition politics of this country is headed. They are totally clueless, directionless. Each person mingles with the other person. They are arch enemies to each other in Indian politics because ideas don't reach. And every 2 days once they keep changing their friends. That is number one, man. Second, in fact, Rahul Gandhi starts this yatra from Tamil Nadu. Happens for 2 days. To in one district, in one direction towards Kerala. The road that leads towards Kerala is going in that road. Then the yatra doesn't enter into Tamil Nadu. Such a great state. Till 1967, Congress was a ruling party here, where the Congress themselves practically admit that they are not in the race in Tamil Nadu politics anytime soon. Now, coming to the data is irrefutable. Look at the numbers that India has achieved in the last 8 years after Modi ji has come to power. 16% of India had tap water connection. Now, Modi ji has pushed 10 crore connections in the last 8 years. We are touching upwards of 50% now. And 70 years, the total toilets they have built is about 5.5 crore. Now, in the last 8 years alone, we have touched about 11 crore. People are living without basic electricity. 18,000 villages when Modi ji was as the PM never had a single electricity connection. Now, after 8 years, every single village is electrified now. So if you look at any of the basic numbers, maybe the artificial divide that is there between, or the real divide that is there between the rich and the poor, Honorable Prime Minister has bridged every single divide. So what is the number is talking of? Again, coming to the communal character of this country. Communal character, I think we have to talk about n number of issues. One, the communal character is determined by the spirit of this country. One is the Tamil spirit in the southern part, next is the Kashmir spirit, or the northeastern spirit. India is nowhere, no time more unified than what is there now. Article 370 abolition, it has made India complete integrated country now. Northeast, we have seen in 10 years of UPA rule, the strikes, the blockades, how Northeast was. Now look at the last 8 years, what is happening now. So nobody is going to buy into this theory. Maybe an economic divide or a communal divide or a political divide, whichever divide is talking about, nobody is going to buy. India is more unified with Prime Minister Modi ji at the helm in the last 8 years, madam.
Okay, that's a spirited defense, certainly. Annamalai, in case of Tamil Nadu, it is DMK Congress on one hand versus AIA DMK. There is no sign of the BJP. In that, why Rahul Gandhi is setting his foot there, making you so uncomfortable? I mean, Rahul Gandhi obviously realizes that the Congress made gains in Tamil Nadu because of DMK, because of their alliance with DMK. And without DMK, they are not really a force.
We often call that the Congress in Tamil Nadu is an ICU with the DMK supplying the oxygen. That is the common terminology in Tamil Nadu. And for him, maybe it's a symbolism that he wants to start from the southern tip of the country and go towards Kashmir. Maybe it is a symbolism that he wants to do it here. Coming to the political narrative here, in fact, I don't think the DMK party also, with a lot of openness, they have Congress with them as an alliance. Because 2 days back, as I said, they hosted Arvind Kejriwal, which Congress found very uncomfortable. Some sharp exchange of words happened between some Congress leaders in the press conference when this was asked. And many a time, including Congress, some of the MPs here, Karthik Chidambaram, who's an MP from Shivagangai, the son of Mr. P. Chidambaram. Just a week back, he said, the Congress party in Tamil Nadu has lost a bit of its respect, self-respect, because they're an alliance and many things they can't talk very openly. There are a lot of rumblings within the Congress party also. Having said it, ma'am, I don't think Rahul Gandhi has chosen this place very carefully because he wants to launch this yatra, because he thinks he can revive Congress in Tamil Nadu. It is mere symbolism. He wanted to start from the southern point of India. I'm not reading more into this yatra or into the specific route that Congress party has chosen, madam.
All right, K. Annamalai, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. On that note, we are slipping into a short break. After that, I'll be traveling to Bengaluru and continuing our focus on what is going wrong in IT City. Why does it continue to be waterlogged? Why are people so anxious there?